Live. Yes, I. So, people, I am. I am a bit bothered. I'm a bit bothered by the plight of our people in general, as melanated people. Um, and I think I've kind of come to that point in my life where it is not my job to save every single melanated person on this planet. I've come to that conclusion, and it buns me. It literally hurts me. Yeah, that we think so differently. We cannot save everyone. Not everyone is going to be able to jump or be able to be welcomed. Yeah, on, I don't want to say ship, because we know what happened last time we was on a ship. I almost feel like if you're not going to be like a person that's building relations for melanated people to achieve or to aspire to be better, then get off the freaking ship. Like, get off this plight. Yeah. If you're literally going to be one of these people that's going to be out here talking about, yeah, black people ain't shit, come off my line. I don't want to talk to you. Hey, we are the only people that's going to like drive ourselves up or drives ourselves down. Yeah. And one thing that I've kind of noticed is we have of people, sect, yeah, SECTS, sects of people. I don't even care if that's right at the moment, because I'm just like, I really got to, get this point out. And we are under this divisive notion of dividing and conquering. Yeah. Being on this page and doing these videos, I have probably had more negative responses from fellow, melanated people. Yeah. If you're not melanated and you don't feel like you should be addressed as such, then do not comment on our plight. Do not comment on our plight. Yeah. All I want to conversate with is the same melanated individuals who want to better us as a people. There is no point talking shit on any platform when it comes to melanated people. And us as melanated people are the ones that are bringing ourselves down. We are the ones that we're the first, to abuse our own selves. We're the first to call someone darky, blacky, whatever. And when the person turns around and bleaches their skin, we're like, oh, look, I'm gonna bleach them skin now. Look at that idiot there. You understand? So where are we going as a nation? Where are we going as a people? If you want to be descendants of American chattel slavery, so be it. Yeah. If you want to be African American, so be it. Bless. If you want to be, known as Africans, bless. If you want to be known as Caribbean, bless. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we all have got to understand we're all melanated people. So how do we come together as melanated people? Are there forces that's in the way from us coming together? What would the rest of, how would they benefit or not benefit from us coming together? That's something that you guys have got to ask yourselves. What do coming together as a people, as a nation, I'm tired of shouting out blah blah blah, segregated we fall type shit. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of having to try and explain my journey for some of you guys to understand. In every good there's a bad, in every bad there's a good. Yeah? Yin yang equilibrium theory. And you got to understand that. I've got to necessarily understand that, you know what I mean? Everyone that I address and I put to, not everybody's going to understand, or not everybody's going to agree with where I'm coming from. But we must have one common ground, and a common ground that we must have is unity within our people. If we cannot have unity within our people, then we are not a people. Because then we can be conquered by anyone that comes anywhere near us. I made a comment, or I made a video about how when I was living in Nigeria, because my father is from Barbados, my mom's from Nigeria, and I've only just met my father 5 years ago, my real father. Yeah? And I made a comment regarding being, in a sense, brainwashed by television because of certain shows that was on TV. The shows were more kind of like, almost like white is right, shouting at me. And these are the same channels, or this is the same country that when you walk down or drive down one of the biggest highways, you see a big old massive poster that says, upgrade your skin in Nigeria. And you got to understand, sometimes just because you are from a black country that doesn't have a visible white supremacist view to attack your blackness, it doesn't mean you're not being attacked. Sometimes when you blare out or put these transmission of films or videos into a black country, and you're not blasting out certain things of, like, you know, what it means to be black, or what it means to be melanated, and what it means to be melanated and strong, you're actually causing an effect that is ripe for a white supremacist type view. Yeah. So I had a couple of backlashes, and from one particular young lady, and she was saying about, oh, you know, us black men, this is the times that, okay, let me explain something. From the ages of, I think, 3 or 4 to 10, I lived in Nigeria. Yeah. And I came back to London. I was born in London. I came back to London when I was 10 years old in primary school. And I just remember I'll be like, oh, no, you know, when I come to Nigeria, I want to date a white girl. I'd never dated anyone when I was younger. Do you know what I mean? So that was the first thing in my mind. Now, when I came to London, all I saw was one of my friends in primary school, black boy, Nigerian boy, he was just dating white girls. It felt like the norm, because when you're in a different country. Now, it's funny because I'm reading a particular book at the moment. It's upside down, back to front here. Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz. Yeah. I had to look at it in Frantz, Fanon. Yeah. That basically breaks down a couple of ideas and ideologies that when you're about to go to a country that has colonized your country at one point, that you tend to start brushing off the essence of your blackness, and you want to move closer to being white or whatnot. See, the African-American plight has been interesting because, as harsh as it has been, the African-American has had to fight for their rights to be of a certain, to be understood, or to fight to put certain stamps on America to a certain extent, and the world. But it doesn't mean that the African coming out of Africa hasn't had a plight. Yeah. Not saying that is ever in in line with the American plight, or which was better. Because one thing that we like to do as black people is, as melanated people, is downgrade each other, like do a one up on each other. Yeah, my situation was a lot worse because of this and that. How do you measure? How do you measure pain? How do you measure pain? How do you measure who has been done more wrong to? How do you measure that? Why are we trying to do better? Why are we trying to do? I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it. And I don't think we're meant to understand this. I feel like as individuals, before we can come together as a union of melanated people, I feel like as individuals, we need to educate ourselves about each other's freaking plights. Educate your fucking selves about everybody else's fucking plight before you open your mouth. It doesn't matter if you're, descendants of chatteled, slavery, African American, Caribbean, African, whatever. Learn each other's fucking history, man. That's the only way. Learn from different aspects so that you can commune and comment and say, well, I actually know where you're coming from, and you're chatting shit because this and this and this happened. Do you know about your history? Learn from everyone. There's no point us pointing the finger and saying like, yeah, that black person is worse than that black person, and you're a black person yourself. Sorry, a melanated person yourself. I really don't know where it's going to stop. And at this particular moment, shit no more. Because at the end of the day, if we fucking together, we're going to die together. Same way. Certain people were sold and put on ships and put on slave ships or whatnot. And there's a lot of people that have rightly said some of the Africans that sold other Africans from war also probably got sold themselves. And someone also said, obviously, there's been, Princess Nzinga or Queen Nzinga who had to fight off certain, colonizers who tried to come over, and we had to fight them and beat them up and kill them and send them back home, blah, blah. Same thing happened in a Congo, like Shaka Zulu had to do the same thing, blah, blah. There's been so many different, sides of the story that we all don't know, but we're all saying like, you know what? My shit is worse. Fuck that, man. Why is your shit worse? Because you got to look at right now, wherever you go around the world, you as a melanated brother or sister is still seen as second-class citizen wherever you go. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Jay-Z, Beyonce will tell you the same thing. Doesn't matter how much money you are, they're still going to consider you a fucking nigger. And I hate that fucking word. Yeah? So what are we doing to better ourselves? And I say to every single one of you, my brothers and sisters of my melanated brothers and sisters, I say to you out there, all you guys with the money, don't care how you get your money, put it back in your community, educate your community on what needs to be known, what needs to be what needs to be taught, what needs to be learnt about your people, better your people, whatever sides of the country, the world you're from, and you're a melanated person, come together and fucking just unite on a front. Do it in small little spaces around your community. Commune. A common unity. Let's do this. Whatever I'm saying will probably never get to the people that needs to hear it. What I'm saying will probably never change the world today. If one drop of what I'm fucking saying tonight, yeah, gets to the edges or the banks of the fucking world in 1,000 years, then I've done my fucking job. All we need to do is fucking come together. That's all we need to do. As passionate as this is to me, The only way that we can end so-called racism is if we stop killing ourselves. We stop hating on ourselves, on the nation. We have fought against ourselves way before the colonizers have come into our countries and colonized our fucking country, our continent, shall I say. Yeah. But it's about time that we've come together. Do you not think that we have fought long enough? East Africans, West Africans, South Africans, North Africans, do you not think that we have fought amongst each other long enough? African Americans, Parisian, Black Parisians, do you not think we have fought amongst each other long enough? Is it not time that we come together? Is it not time that we unify our fucking allegiance? Listen, there must be something that is stopping us from getting to where we need to get to. What I'm probably saying is probably some utopian type shit that will never fucking happen. That might never happen in my fucking lifetime, in my grandchildren's lifetime. But it needs to be said. Why the fuck can't we come together? Gaddafi tried to do it, and he was killed. Now, I'm not going to say on camera that, basically he was killed because of what he was trying to do. I don't know. Rumored that he was. Let's unite our people regardless, of how much melanin you have in your body. You got to understand, learn about each other, learn about each other's plights, learn about each other's histories. And the ones that in in the Americas, the descendants of American chattel slavery, as you call yourselves, or American or African Americans, Black Americans, Parisian blacks, Black British, Black Africans, and all the other Africans who is down with this movement of unity, learn about each other's plights, man. Why are you turning around telling your own brother that, oh, you know what? Yeah, Massa whipped me more, and my pain is worse than your pain. You should be trying to heal each other's pain, or try to tend to each other's pains. We've all gone through some shit here. Understand that. A brother just said, Richie McIntyre just said, it is very hard to love each other when we don't respect each other. Very true. We don't respect each other. We need to start respecting each other. We need to start understanding, each other. And to our governments in Africa, when are we going to stand together? When are we going to stand together as one big, like United States of Africa? When are we going to stand together? When are we going to call our brothers and sisters from all around the world who are melanated? When are we going to call them back to Africa and say, yo, this here is for you? When are we going to bring our brothers and sisters back to Africa to build Africa? Before I even say this, one thing that you got to understand is Africa is actually the West. Without Africa, the West will not really be here, really, would it? Where does the oil come from? Apart from Saudi Arabia. Africa? Where does the diamonds come from? Where does the gold come from? Africa. So how can we own I don't know. How can we own or regain our land back in Africa and take and get our brothers and sisters who are in the Americas, in Paris, in Britain, and all the other outskirts of the world? How can we bring them all back to Africa and build Africa back to where it's meant to be? How can we do that? When can we do that? We need to do something now. At least everything that you are doing right now should be working towards maybe 1,000 years from now. Everything that you're doing, you should be able to say that your great-great-grandchildren can say that they are Africans as melanated people, regardless of what part of the of this world, this globe that you reside on. We need to come together. Absolutely. Penguins of Gaza. Start with the decolonization of the mind. You're absolutely right. We do need to start with that. But there's so many different things. I feel like, you know, we decolonizing the mind, as you say. How do we decolonize the mind when we still need to get certain people to start even thinking the same? I guess it's the same as decolonizing the mind. We need to come together first, don't we? As a people, before we can get to that place. Yeah? Free your mind and the rest will follow. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm all quoting Brownstone. Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, we need to get out of mental slavery, as Bob said, as Bob Marley said. Free yourself from mental slavery. Is it? Because none of else can free our minds or some shit like that. Can't remember the lyrics. But these are words that have been put down by prophets way before us, in songs, in music. Why are we not following that? My melanated brothers and sisters, it is time that we move forward. We have no wars to fight. We have no wars to fight against anybody else who is not melanated. Because why do we need to fight white supremacists? You know, why do we need to fight them? There's anti-melanated supremacists making up words, yeah? There's within our own melanated brothers and sisters who want to kill us. We want to kill each other. Why? Before we go around pointing fingers at everybody else that hates us, that's not melanated, we need to understand that other fingers point back to us. When are we gonna get together? And I don't give a crap if I'm preaching. I really don't care. Because if someone doesn't say it, no one will ever say it. These words that I'm saying will probably fall on deaf ears. I really don't care. I really don't care. It feels like it needs to be said because every single, not every single, but a lot of the comments that are put onto the videos are saying some negative-ish about each other. Yeah? I got my African brothers, Nigerian brothers, or whoever is using this term, akata. Why the fuck are you using that? You got your brother on the other side, you don't know his plight, and you're calling him akata. Yeah? Another divisive word to divide and conquer your own brother and sister by calling him that word. African booty scratches and all that, what we got called when we were younger by certain people, by certain other, maybe, you know what I mean? I've had British kids, British black Caribbean kids call me that when I was younger. Man, I had to fight. At the end of the day, we all throw stones and all live in fucking glass houses. What the fuck are we doing? We're not gonna have a fucking house left. Yeah? So understand this. Everybody else is throwing stones and calling people this, that, and that. What the fuck are you doing? Got another comment from Penguins of Gaza. One of my concerns is the negative baggage we carry with us. It's so entrenched, and if we are not careful, we will take it with us to the motherland and pollute. Ooh. Very true. Very true. We could take it to the motherland and pollute it, but the fact that you are actually thinking about going to the motherland, I believe you will leave your baggages behind. The fact that your intentions to go to the motherland to better the motherland will not necessarily pollute it, but be closer to where we are right now. I understand within us as a people, in every good, there's a fucking bad bunch. Every bad apple, yeah, can rot the fucking whole bunch. We know that. Just as long as we police ourselves to eradicate the bunch. But unfortunately, see, what happens is when you try to eradicate the bunch that are spoiling the rest of the bunch of apples, freaking this apple analogy is pissing me off, yeah? We'll end up making enemies of our own brothers and sisters. So how do we change their mindset in terms of coming together? Now, there are people, melanated people, the appearance of melanated people, yeah, who do not and will never follow the melanated agenda of unity. They have that massa complex. And that is an American term, African-American term in a sense, yeah? And they have that complex that they feel that Uncle Tom type complex, that overseer complex, that they want to report back to the massa when we are trying as a people, attempting as a people to come together and be unified. There's a lot that's going on in this world that pisses me off. But at the end of the day, I think I've realized on a level, we cannot save everyone, man. We cannot save everyone. I'm hurt. I'm hurt on so many different levels, trying to figure out if we will ever survive this. If my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren will ever see a world that every single melanated person will come together as one. I don't know. I honestly do not know. I want to say that the possibility is there. But I guess if I can think it, it's true somewhere in the universe. I don't know, man. Let me see. Let me get another comment. Penguins of Gaza, where Professor Q is still writing. Penguins of Gaza, what do you think of Ghana's recent announcement of easy visas? Just touching on another point. I'm half Jamaican and Ghanaian. Growing up, I was always made to favor the Jamaican side. Not now. Do you know what? If the easy visa is gonna basically promote that part of Africa, I say why not? If the easy visa is gonna basically get more, I guess we need, more of our melanated brothers and sisters, bring them back home. Why not? I think something that is interesting as well is when we talk about going back to Africa, Africa's big, you know? Africa's big. And if certain people are more accommodating than others, then let's go to the places that's more accommodating to us as melanated people. Yeah? My mother's from Nigeria. Yeah? She's actually half Benin, half Yoruba. Omoluabi, which is the original term of Yoruba, what Yoruba actually means. Yoruba was actually given to us by the Hausas, I've been told, which is almost like a derogatory term. Yoruba was actually a derogatory term. Yalaba, I think it was called. And Omoluabi are, we are the Omoluabis in the Yorubas. And my mum is half, as I said, Yoruba or Moluabi, and half Benin. I think it's Benin Republic. Basically, the Dahomey people. That's my mum, half Dahomey, who speak French, and a half was Yoruba. Now, whoever welcomes you into their fold is where you should go. That's where you know where your family is at. But remember that when you go to those places, treat them as such. Treat them as how you'd want to be treated. Let's give back, yeah, to Africa. When I say give back to Africa, you're probably thinking, yeah, but Africa sold us. We need to put those things aside and look at the possibilities of being able to build a United States of Africa on a different level, man. Let's read this. Penguins of Gaza. When I mean not now, I mean I embrace both sides. No, absolutely. I embrace both sides. I mean, I've only just recently, when I say recently, within the last 5 years, being told that my father was, was from Barbados. And I say was because my father died in August 20th. No, August 27th. Bank holiday Monday, basically August, and we buried him in September the 20th, and he's from Barbados. Yeah, and for years I didn't really understand, why I looked the way I looked compared to my then father. But basically, it is important to embrace both sides, wherever sides of the coin you fall on. If you're half this, half that, embrace both sides. It makes sense. Yeah. Now, Professor Q. My problem with Africa is if you move there, your grandchildren may have to move back west for money. They need to secure resources. Why do they need to secure resources? The resources that you need are in Africa. The resources that you need are in Africa. The refinery is probably in the West. But why don't we build oil refineries? Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Any African brothers and sisters who are actually from the motherland, who are living there and know of oil refineries in Africa that's possibly owned by melanated people. Let us know. Let us know. But our great-grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, wouldn't have to go back to the West, because Africa is the West. Think about it. Think about it. In all the films and all the commercials that we see over here in the United Kingdom or UK, England, whatever, Ireland, Scotland, blah blah, yeah, are all of African kids with flies landing on their freaking eyeball. Flies all over their faces. That's the perception of what medias and blah blah want to see. That's what they want to portray us as. That like we have nothing. That all we're good for is poverty. Why? Why do you think that is? Dude, I had to tell my girlfriend the other day that, you know what? Do you actually know that we have beaches in Nigeria. Beautiful beaches. She was like, "Bruh, didn't know that." Because certain people don't want us to go back to these countries, yeah, to the continent, the motherland, to reap what the land has to offer us and what we can actually give back. All you sort of kids, all you kids that have gone to America, myself that's come to England, okay, I was born here, but still come to England and studied and blah blah, and don't go back to Africa to go and give back to Africa, yeah, to go and better Africa. You need to, get your shit and go back to Africa, yeah. I always used to joke back in the day where the BNP, which is the British National Party over here, which is equivalent to the KKK in the States, used to basically have a march in South Bermondsey and tell us to go back to our countries, call us monkeys and all sorts. That's a joke that, yeah, I'll go march with them and go, them black bastards. You know why? Because if you lot are going to pay for the ticket to go back to the country, I'm gone. If you're going to give me, like, give me back all the oil and all the diamonds that you lot stole from us, then I'm fucking gone. If you're going to give me, all the people from my side, and some of the Nigerians that were enslaved and brought to the UK or brought to the Caribbean or whatnot, and give me all the reparations for that, because you know what? As black British people, we still also are owed reparations. Give us all the reparations, yeah? Then we'll go back to Africa and go fix it. Yeah, we'll go back to Africa because we still have roots. I still have cousins that's in Africa that can contact. Out of some of my boys, Art Comes First, who are actually in Kenya at the moment. Actually, they might have left Kenya, but they were in Kenya, doing concerts and all sorts. Better in Africa. I got my boy James Kamawe, who's a resident of Atlanta, Georgia at the moment, who's going back to Kenya very soon to go and just basically build parts of Kenya. So why don't we take from the West as the West takes from us? The way the West takes from us in terms of gold and diamonds and builds the West. Why don't we take the education that we've learned in the West and take it back to Africa and build Africa and make it westernized for us that were born in the West? And everyone is welcome. Everyone of melanated skin is welcome. And we need to actually have some sort of force that's in pricks, yeah, who want to hate against your own melanated brothers and sisters. Yeah, man, we need to cuff that, because at the end of the day, yeah, if you don't come together, what are we gonna do? Come together or die together. That's what's gonna happen. Let's see. Professor Q, China and France have a stronghold. Very true, but France has had a stronghold for a very, very long time when it comes to Africa. Yeah, there's some African countries, yeah, that French-speaking colonies in Africa, they still pay tax to France. What do you mean? They still pay tax to France. Why are you paying tax to France? Are you not paying taxes to your own countries that's in Africa? Someone explain that to me, yeah? Some of my Senegalese people, Congolese people, yeah, holler at me. Why are those countries still paying tax to France? I'm confused. I'm proper confused. Yeah. What was the other thing? China also has a stronghold. I think with that particular situation with China, yeah, I see this situation. I think a kid from Mozambique, please someone correct me, from East Africa, I think, or somewhere who was killed by a Chinese, some Chinese guys for dating a Chinese woman or whatever, a girl, whatever. Yeah. And how some Chinese are being told to that have come to certain parts of Africa, are married our women to own parts of our land so that they can start digging our land for gold and oil. That is a situation I feel like we might need to deal with ourselves in terms of the governments of those countries that's in Africa to sort that shit out. Let me see, what else is here? Africa barely belongs to Africans anymore. Very true. You're right. You're right. But we need to return back and own what actually belongs to us. Yeah, the little parts that belongs to us. Who is it? I've just forgotten his name. Oh my gosh, it's just Akon. Akon said in a video that he did on YouTube with was it a Dipset Mandem or something like that? I can't remember who he said it. It was a Noriega, and he's telling him, "Yo, go if you want to buy in Africa. If you want to put some money, put it in Africa." He said that. He said there's pieces of land for that. Akon is doing great things there. Yeah, I'm still surprised that Nigeria still doesn't have what's it called? I was just spoken about it today. Solar power. Not everywhere. Yeah. True say, like, our same people are the same people that are killing ourselves, really. Yeah. Some of the people that's living in Nigeria, I've got that mentality of like, you know, yeah, the West is best. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the West. The ones that really know about it are back in Nigeria living life. Yeah. Now let me see. Controversial point. How does this argument affect interracial couples, white and black returning? Interesting point. See, the thing is, it is a very interesting point because you do have situations where, like, say, like my brother Akala, yeah. Say, like, if he wanted to go back to Africa or whatnot, certain parts of Africa, I almost feel like it depends on, because you can't just be jumping on the bandwagon and going, yeah, just because yeah, I'm mixed race, I'm half black or half African or half white, that I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. That cat there is the man. Yeah. To a certain extent, I will say, like, Akala, if you don't know about Akala, look up who Akala is, yeah? He can handle himself on so many different levels. Yeah. He's a younger brother than me, and he's more well-spoken than myself. Yeah, and I'm proud of that. And I will learn more from that brother there. He's a good brother. Yeah. So in terms of that question, whites and blacks going back, or when you're mixed race going back, you would know. Am I, if you really want to get so deep, we have to kind of reverse the one drop situation of, if you have a certain percentage of white in you, you're not allowed back in Africa. Guys, there's going to be a whole load of us motherfuckers. No? There's going to be a whole load of us. Because looking at my skin, you know I got a drop of white or something in my blood. My mom's more or less mulatto the way she looks. My grandmother was definitely mixed race. So how does that stand? Where do you draw the line? I think you just know mentally who is for you or who is not for you. But there is a lot of wolves in sheep clothing. So you know what? That is a hard question to answer, to be fair. Yeah. Richie McIntyre, shall I say. The reason Africa is not accessible to DOS throughout the diaspora is because our familial ties are no longer traceable. That's a lie. They still are traceable. You might not be able to get, you know, the lineage to the family that you're from. In fact, you can still do that. I think it's ancestral.com are doing that whole breakdown of the DNA and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how accurate this is, but it is something that can be done. I mean, if you've done that and you've traced back your family to certain parts of Africa and you couldn't find them, that's a different story. But it can be done, as far as I understand. It can be done. Yeah. Penguins of Gaza. Tax issue probably relate to the repayment of generational debt. Okay, explain to me, Penguins of Gaza, what the generational debt is. Yeah, please. I don't claim to know everything. Please explain to me what that is. Wavy Black Superman, where's my girlfriend? She's at home. In fact, what's the time? Yeah, she's at home, actually. I'm seeing her tomorrow. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, no, don't worry. We ain't broken up or anything like that. Richie McIntyre again. I understand what you were saying, but we have to establish ourselves beyond cultural differences and tribal ties. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. We do need to, establish ourselves beyond these cultural differences and tribal ties. We do. I mean, I hate to use the Black Panther film to a certain extent, but what happened in that film, if we are able to come together like that in a little bit, there's a lot of that film I didn't really agree with, but if we were able to come together like that to a certain extent, I think it will start from us understanding the true story of our existence. Yeah. Or our okay. Now I need you guys to search something up. Jebu, Jebu. The Ijebu people are actually my mother's people. Jebu. Jebu Saleh. Jebu Saleh is basically a place of flat ground. Like Jebu is a place. Isale is flat ground. Yeah. And you got Jebu of the mountains, Jebu of, you know what I mean? These different places. What does Jebu Saleh sound like to you? I read an article recently. And Jebu Saleh is meant to be Jerusalem. And he talks about the Cushites. I'll see if I can find that link, and it's actually a WhatsApp. I'm gonna have to somehow put it in the notes here somewhere. But there's a gem in there for you guys to go and research for yourselves. I don't want to give you all the answers. What else? Let me see. Yeah, of course. Before any of this is implemented, Wavy Black Superman. Why do we always have to invite others to join us? Why can't we just something have black love? I don't understand that. Do you mean in the terms of the mixed race type situation, or what? I'm not sure. Explain to me what you mean by that. That's Wavy Black Superman. Explain to me what you mean. Let's see. Generational debt equals loss of income from the cessation of wealth during the period of European imperialism in Africa. Am I missing some of these? Some of these words. In Africa, which is then payable by future generations. Yeah, but that seems a bit funny to me. Is that the answer to why those African countries are paying a generational debt? Isn't that I swear that's the fact that France no longer has slaves from or don't have slaves from those African countries anymore. This is why the Africans are paying this generational debt to France. So it's almost like, because we're not slaves anymore, we're going to pay let us be free massa tax to France. That's what I feel that is. Please, someone correct me, you know what I mean, if I'm wrong. If you have more information about this, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Do you believe a black person can be pro-black in an interracial relationship? You know what? I actually know a brother that is pro-black in an interracial relationship. And I was explaining to someone recently about that. The brother, as much as I do sometimes kind of wonder about his understanding and where his head is at, but I understand that us being in a more where interracial mixing is almost like it's, I don't know, it just happens in Britain. We're not segregated like America. Yeah. And this brother met this girl, this, you know, his wife, who is his wife now, when he went to school with her, and he fell in love with her. Yeah. Now, when he talks and he teaches his children, his mixed race children, he'd speak the mother tongue of Yoruba. Yeah. And he teaches them, and he teaches his wife, and he actually says to his wife, the fact that you are married to a black man, you are no more or less than a black woman to a certain extent in terms of the way you're going to be seen by society. So you know, do you believe a person of pro-black who can be pro-black in an interracial relationship? If you already have children, blah, blah, the answer is almost yes and no, because it depends on where you picked up or when did you become pro-black? If it's way before the relationship that you're in with an interracial relationship, yeah, that you became pro-black, then I will question your pro-blackness to a certain extent. Yeah. But if it's during your journey, yeah, of being pro-black, or during the fact that you were already in an interracial relationship already, and then garnished your pro-blackness, education and awareness of self, I understand, you know, where you're coming from. I'm not gonna be like, just because you're now dating outside your race, that you can't be pro-black enough. I think it depends. It depends, because it also depends on the plight of your, you know, your children. Do you have children together? Yeah. Where does your partner, where does her head stand in the whole black movement? Where does her head stand? Where is her head or his head? That's important. Yeah. Because if you have children already, there has to be an essence of, oh man, that's a difficult question. Good question, guys. Richie's question, do you believe a black person can be pro-black in an interracial relationship? Wavy Black Superman said, no, Richie, no. Just black people. Fair enough. That's his opinion, not necessarily mine. But it's a bit complicated. It's a bit complex, because if we're going to, as I said before, we have to, do we look at the one drop rule? Hey, how much white do you have in you? Hey, you have too much. Step back, go back. Do you know what I mean? Like, where does it start and end? Blah, blah. Obviously, I'm being deliberately, you know, taking it there. You know what I mean? This happened in Haiti. Is this what was the last thing? The tax thing. Okay, that's deep. That's what I'm saying. You learn every day, man. Every day is a school day. I feel like every single melanated person should be able to share your story, from your hometown or from wherever you are with other melanated people, so they can understand where you're coming from. Wavy Black Superman, you can't be pro-black and date other race. Pro-black means you probably what? Okay, I mean that you won't pull. Pro-black means you go business, love, and family. Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's some typos there, but I think what you're saying is you can't be pro-black and date outside your race. Definitely. If you heard what I said before, yeah, no, I saw the typo. If you heard what I said before in terms of it depends where your journey started, because if you have a loving relationship, a loving family, and you are, you just discovered your pro-blackness, yeah, during this thing in your relationship, should you really break up with your woman? Should you get a divorce because of this? It's kind of deep. Do you have children? Where does that, that's another thing that another thing that could hurt your mixed race children or whatever it is. Yeah, but it is a difficult one. As I said before, it depends where you are with your journey or your pro-blackness. If you're pro-black from the beginning and you were dating women of the same, or men or women of the same race, and then all of a sudden you're still pro-black and you date someone outside of your race, then it's kind of like, okay, yeah, as I said before, I will question your pro-blackness. But if it's in the middle where you're within this relationship and then you discover your pro-blackness, do you know what I mean? Like, help me out, people. Professor Q, you're correct about France. France calculated money they could make and would have made and tax them on it. Oh, wow. And that was just a guess. Thank you, Professor Q, for clearing that up. Richie McIntyre, wavy black man, Superman, I agree. Okay. You can't be pro-black and date outside of your race. Pro-black is your business black. I think there's another typo there. Pengs the Gaza, laughing out loud. In my opinion, a pro-black person is in mixed race relationship. No matter how you cut it, it's a contradiction. Of course it is. It takes some mental gymnastics to believe otherwise. Very true. Very true. Very, very true. Okay, I'm from the States. My family has been here forever. When you say here, do you mean let me finish reading. And I can see where the one-drop rule can blur lines. My mother and all her siblings look like Mexicans, so we're very diverse in color. Okay, McIntyre. And obviously having the McIntyre name, if that's your name, I believe that is a Scottish name, McIntyre. So I can see, yeah. So yeah, what do you think about that? That's interesting. Wavy black man, you can be for your people and date outside of your race, but you can't be pro-black but desire the opposite of what you preaching. Absolutely. No, absolutely. I mean, this is information. These are things that we should definitely keep talking about. Let's keep this this dialogue. No, it's not like a dialogue. I feel like I'm preaching you guys, yeah? But let's keep this open so that we can talk more and reach out more. And I say to every other video influencers, I don't want to even call them influencers, people who are actually making an effort to deliver certain services, as it were, to the black diaspora, and in terms of your mind, body, and soul, I feel that we should be talking more about bringing people together. Another question here from DE or D or the. I think the problem is that a lot of people look at pro-blackness in the terms of simple binaries, as opposed to on a moving scale. This question is hard to answer with so many moving parts. Absolutely, I totally agree. It is very, very hard to answer that particular question with so many moving parts. So going back to what I'm saying, we definitely 100% need to start mentally, emotionally, psychologically, start making a move towards a better Africa. Yeah. I'm halfway to reading this book by Frantz Fanon, Black Skin, White Masks. is a French writer, and I hate the fact that this is back to front, but yeah, he's a French psychologist, I believe, who was living in Algeria. And he basically wrote several books or whatnot. And it's been interesting. It's been an interesting read that I've got from his book. I'm literally blown away. I'm literally blown away in such a way, and it literally blows my mind. This book. Please read this book. Please read this book as soon as you can. Yeah, Frantz Fanon, and he basically he's deep, man. He's deep. He gets you to understand it, because I saw parts of me in this book when I was just like, rah, when I was living in Niger, yeah. Like, in fact, even my parents, my stepdad, who I didn't know was my stepdad at the time, but yeah, my stepdad and my mother never let me play with the kids in the area that I grew up in Mushin, Lagos, yeah, because they felt that I was above them because I was born in London. What bullshit is that? Yeah. So this book made me kind of understand on so many different levels things I already knew, but it kind of put it in writing from a psychological point of view, from a psychologist's point of view. Yeah, human behaviorism, sociology, sociological type impacts. You know, please read this book, please. Yeah. And I also did a series of video, directed and produced a series of videos for a lady called Paulette Williams for her website, her Instagram. Follow on Instagram, Leading Roots. That basically discusses, especially just from London, a British perspective, Black or melanated students who are master's students or PhD students and trying to get more melanated people to do their masters and do their PhD, and actually understand that you will actually get funding for your money for a PhD, I believe. Yeah. So Leading Roots at what's it called? At Leading Roots. Check that out on Instagram. Yeah. And check out some of the videos that I produced for them. Yeah. And it was a guy called Tisso that got me into reading this particular book, because he talks about Frantz Fanon. I'm not a psychologist major. You know, my thing is film. My thing is film and, you know, acting and spoken word and blah, blah. So please read this book. Read this book to garnish a little bit more knowledge about why we do the things that we do as Black folks. It's a Black author. Read this book. I pray, please read this book. Let me see what it says in the back here. Let me just read this. First published in 1952 and in English in 1968, Frantz Fanon's seminal text has long been acclaimed as a classic of Black liberationalist writing. Fanon's descriptions of the feelings of inadequacy and dependence experienced by people of color in a white world are as salient and as compelling as ever. Fanon identifies a devastating pathology at the heart of Western culture, a denial of difference that persists to this day. His writing speaks to all who continue to struggle for political and cultural liberation in our troubled times. One feels a brilliant, vivid, and hurt mind walking the thin line that separates effective outrage from despair. New York Times. A strange, haunting melange of existential analysts, revolutionary manifesto, metaphysics, prose, poetry, and literary criticism. Newsweek. Fanon's analysis of crippled colonial mentalities may be even more salient now than it was then. Frantz Fanon, 1925 to 1961, was born in the French Caribbean island of Martinique and studied medicine and psychiatry in France. He passionately identified with Algeria's armed struggle for independence, and this led to him to write a book called A Dying Colonialism in 1959. and The Wretched of the Earth in 1961, which became a manifesto for the Third World. I was not told about this book growing up, and every single black person should really read this book, because it just gives you a different viewpoint, man. It gives you a different viewpoint. If you don't understand the French or British plight, yeah, this book will explain certain things to you. As I said, I'm only a few pages in, and I'm on that level, yeah? So let me see. One of the most progressive African icons today is Patrice Lumumba, who truly encourages Pan-Africanism. That being said, Umar Johnson used to be on point. Yeah, I heard about the on point and off pointness of Umar Johnson. I don't know. I don't know the gentleman, you know, directly, so I can't comment on that. I don't know what he was like, what he's like now, what's changed about him. Do you think, this is Wavy Black Superman, do you think blacks from the States and the UK can't come together and help build Africa? No, absolutely. This is my point. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, melanated people going back to Africa to build it. I absolutely think they can. Cannot, can't. Do you think cannot? Yeah, I think they can come to, together and build Africa. That's if they want to. Blacks in America, this is Penguin of Gaza, blacks in America and UK, two completely different mindsets. Ooh, I see it in some ways as a hindrance. I think before that happens, before that is possible for blacks in the UK, because even before we even say blacks in the UK, because the blacks in the UK are not just, one set of people. You got to understand that we literally have, literally almost every single melanated person of Africa, probably every single melanated person of Africa in the UK. Literally the whole of Africa is in the West, yeah, at least representatives. So I think before we are able to come together with the United States, the melanated brothers and sisters in the United States, we first of all have to get the colonial mindset of some of the African or melanated African brothers and sisters that is actually in the UK. We need to get them to start thinking out of the colonial mindset first, because most of these melanated African brothers and sisters that's actually in the UK who might have just come straight from Africa, their mindset is a case of UK is the place for me to make more money and to better myself. That's how they see things, yeah? So we have to get their Uncle Tom type thinking. It's not all of them, because there's some, yeah? I almost feel like it can only be the educated, yeah? When I say educated, I don't mean necessarily book smart, doctors, psychologists, blah, blah. You need to be educated in the essence of your black knowledge, yeah, your melanated knowledge to a certain extent, yeah. And you have to, I believe this is where my brother Akala should open a university in terms of teaching blackness or teaching melanatedness. Wow, trying to make up words out here. Please forgive me. You know what I mean? Like other, brothers like Akala, and I'm saying Akala because Akala is a brother that I know personally. And in terms of what he's talking about and the direction of his mindset, I absolutely applaud. And I absolutely think that, brothers like himself that I do not know about should open a sort of university. I think there's another one called Boyhood to Manhood Academy, I believe. They're an organization over here in the UK that are actually helping black melanated children to start thinking a certain way. There's other organizations in the UK that's doing that, but I almost feel like a lot of these melanated people need to be educated in the essence of what blackness means to them. I almost feel like we need to ask that question: what does blackness mean? Step over and try and help this plight. You're gonna sink the ship. Get the fuck off my boat. Get the fuck off my spaceship, wherever it is. I don't want to know, because it is important that we identify the people that are going to, in a sense, stab us in the back. Yeah, we need to identify them before they give us more hindrance, in a sense. Yeah. So let me see what other questions are here. Penguins of Gaza. One love, until next time, fam. Yes. Blessings, my people. Thank you so much for helping me with my rant. I was ranting like a mother skunk. Yeah, I was ranting hard because I am very passionate about this situation, and I do want us to come together in some sort of way. That's every single one of us. We do need to come together. We don't necessarily need to 100% get along. We do know, we understand that we have our differences, and our differences is what is going to make us stronger as a unified melanated people. Regardless of whatever your pain is, whatever you're going through, please, understand that I have more than love for every single one of you people here. Yeah, every single one of you melanated people of African descent, American descent, Parisian, wherever you are in the world, and you're melanated, have a melanated, your whole mindset is melanated. Yeah, I love you all, and you got to understand that. So basically, I'm trying to think. There's the last thing I was going to say, and it's totally come out of my head. Anyway, follow me on Tim Ford 79, TIMFORDE 79 on Instagram, and follow my Nubian queen, Nubian Women's Wellness on YouTube, and as well as Instagram, Nubian Women's Wellness. Follow my queen on there as well. That will help most of a lot of you Nubian women in terms of just your wellness. Please go to her channel and see what she's about. She's my queen. There's a reason why she's my queen. And by the grace of God, when we are married and have children, we'll be able to replenish this earth, this world, with beautiful Nubian kings and queens, and basically re-educate the world. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. Have a fantastic evening. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Love you all. Blessings.